The moment the news broke, everything else stopped. Screens froze mid-scroll, conversations paused, and a wave of shock spread across fans worldwide. What could possibly force a sudden interruption so intense that it would pull one of the busiest stars away from a major press tour without a second thought? This is not just another headline. This is a moment that has left millions holding their breath, trying to understand what really happened behind the scenes. Stay with this story until the very end because every detail reveals something deeper, something emotional, and something no one saw coming. It began like any other high-profile day in the spotlight. Dylan Wang was in the middle of a highly anticipated movie press tour, surrounded by cameras, flashing lights, and a sea of reporters eager for every word. His schedule had been carefully planned down to the minute, interviews lined up back-to-back, fans gathering outside venues just to catch a glimpse of him. Everything was moving perfectly, every moment calculated for maximum impact. But then something shifted. In the middle of an interview, just as Dylan was answering a question with his usual calm confidence, a member of his team approached quietly. There was something in their expression that immediately changed the atmosphere. It was subtle at first, barely noticeable to the audience, but those watching closely could see the flicker of concern in Dylan's eyes as he glanced at the phone being handed to him. He read the message once, then again, and in that instant, everything changed. The composure that fans had come to recognize was replaced by something raw and urgent. Without hesitation, he stood up, offering a brief apology that barely reached the microphones before he was already moving. Cameras struggled to follow as he exited the room, leaving behind a stunned audience and a string of unanswered questions. Within minutes, speculation began to spread. What could possibly be so urgent? Why would he leave in the middle of such an important event? Then the first report started appearing. Shen Yue had been rushed to the hospital. The words hit like a sudden storm. Fans who had been celebrating Dylan's press tour moments earlier were now refreshing their feeds, searching desperately for updates. The entertainment world shifted from excitement to concern in a matter of seconds. Behind the scenes, the reality was even more intense. Sources close to the situation revealed that Dylan did not wait for explanations. The moment he understood what had happened, his only focus was getting to Shen Yue. Schedules were abandoned, meetings canceled, and an entire team scrambled to rearrange logistics as he made his way through the city. Traffic lights blurred into a series of impatient seconds. Every moment felt too slow. Every delay felt unbearable. For someone used to controlling every aspect of his professional life, this was different. This was personal. This was urgent. This was a moment where nothing else mattered except reaching her. At the hospital, the atmosphere was tense. Corridors filled with quiet movement, distant conversations, and the constant hum of medical activity created a setting that felt worlds away from the glamour of the press tour. Staff moved with purpose, and every passing second carried a weight that words could not fully capture. When Dylan arrived, those present described a moment of pure intensity. He did not pause, did not hesitate, moving quickly through the halls with a focus that left no room for distraction. The usual distance between celebrity and reality disappeared completely in that moment. He was not a star standing in front of cameras. He was someone deeply concerned. Someone searching for answers. Someone hoping for reassurance. Details about Shen Yue's condition remained limited at first, which only increased the anxiety among fans. Rumors spread rapidly, some exaggerated, others entirely unfounded. Social media became a storm of speculation, with millions trying to piece together fragments of information. But amid the chaos, one thing remained clear. Dylan Wang stayed. Hours passed, and he did not leave the hospital. Those close to the situation noted that he remained by her side, refusing to step away even as updates began to stabilize the situation. It was a quiet display of loyalty and concern that spoke louder than any public statement. Meanwhile, outside the hospital, fans began gathering. Some stood silently, holding their phones, waiting for news. Others shared messages of support, creating a wave of encouragement that spread across platforms. Hashtags trended globally as people from different countries united in a single hope that Shen Yue would be safe, that everything would be all right. Inside, The tension slowly began to ease. Medical staff worked carefully, and updates started to indicate that the situation was stabilizing. It was not instant relief, but it was enough to bring a sense of calm after hours of uncertainty. When Dylan finally stepped out to speak briefly with those waiting, the exhaustion in his expression was clear, but so was the relief. His words were simple, measured, and sincere, asking fans to remain calm and trust that she was receiving the best care possible. That moment alone carried more emotion than any scripted scene, because it was real, because it mattered, because it showed a side of him that fans rarely get to see. The story quickly became more than just an emergency headline. It became a reflection of connection, of loyalty, and of the unseen moments that exist behind public personas. Fans who had followed their journeys began revisiting old interviews, past interactions, and shared moments, seeing them now through a different lens. What had once seemed like ordinary interactions now carried deeper meaning. And as updates continued to confirm that Shen Yue was recovering, a collective sigh of relief spread across the global fan community. Messages of support turned into messages of gratitude, and the overwhelming tension began to transform into hope. But the impact of this moment will not fade quickly, because it reminded everyone that behind every headline, behind every spotlight, there are real emotions, real connections, and real moments that define people far beyond their public image. So, if you have been following this story, stay connected. Share your thoughts, support the people involved, and remember that the most powerful stories are not always the ones planned for the stage, but the ones that reveal who people truly are when everything else falls away. And as this story continues to unfold, one thing is certain. The world will be watching, not just for updates, but for the reminder that even in the most unexpected moments, humanity and connection remain at the heart of every story that truly matters. Just when everyone thought the situation was calming down, something unexpected happened that changed the entire atmosphere again. Inside the hospital, the quiet tension returned in a way no one anticipated. Dylan Wang had remained by her side for hours, refusing to step away even for a moment. But suddenly there was movement, more staff, more urgency, and a brief exchange of words that no one outside could fully hear. Those nearby noticed the shift instantly. The calm was gone, and in its place was uncertainty. At the same time, a message began circulating online, a cryptic post that many believed was connected to Shen Yue. It was short, emotional, and left fans questioning everything they thought they knew about the situation. Some said it hinted at something deeper, something that had been building long before this moment. Outside the hospital, the crowd grew larger. Fans held onto every update, every rumor, every small detail, trying to piece together what was really happening behind those walls. The energy was no longer just concern, it was fear mixed with confusion, and a growing sense that this story was far from over. Then came the moment that stunned everyone. Dylan finally stepped out again, but this time his expression was different. Not just tired, but heavier, like he was carrying something he could not yet explain. He paused, looked at the crowd, and for a second it felt like he was about to say something important, something that would change everything. But he didn't. He simply asked for patience. And that silence spoke louder than anything else. Because now, more than ever, it was clear that whatever was happening behind the scenes had layers no one had uncovered yet, and the truth was still waiting to come out.